Hello guys, I think I owe you a Shaketube video. I was on holiday and so I couldn't film last Friday the video about the Merchant of Venice, this play. It's the only play that I have in a paperback version, and it was totally a cover buy. I love this cover. But unfortunately, it's the least favorite play by William Shakespeare so far. I know the play was called problematic, that it is and was anti-Semitic, but for me, my main mistake is that I expect comedies by William Shakespeare to be funny, and they are not. I expect that I will be laughing my head off, and I'm not even smiling sometimes. Anyway, I think this play is more against the occupation. We have two bitter enemies. Antonio, who is the merchant of Venice, a very prosperous merchant, and a rich Jew I'm sorry, I almost said Shaketube. Shylock, a rich Jew Shylock, and they hate each other. Antonio hates Shylock because he lends money with interest, and so he makes his fortune using people who are in need, who are in some bad circumstances, who are going through some very bad and happy and probably tragic period in their life. That's why Antonio hates Shylock. Probably he hates him because of Shylock's religion, but I do not remember thinking about it while reading the play. I saw immediately that Antonio was against the Shylock's occupation, against his profession. So Antonio lends money for his friends to save them from Shylock and his nets or whatever. And he also badmouths Shylock in any opportunity. And Shylock hates Antonio because of all that, because of his badmouthing him and calling him names and offending him in multiple ways. So they are bitter enemies. Antonio has a friend, Bassanio, who wants to woo a very rich woman, Portia, but he needs money to woo her, to get to her in style. He needs money. Right now, Antonio doesn't have money because all his ships are at sea. They are heading in different destinations with some goods on board. So right now, Antonio doesn't have 3,000 ducats, and so they go to Shylock, and they ask Shylock for 3,000 ducats. Bassanio is not, I think, a reliable customer, so Antonio kind of backs him up on this loan. And Shylock makes him to write this. While they ask Shylock for money, Antonio keeps offending him. He keeps calling him names, and he said that they are not going to be friends, that they are not friends. Even if Shylock gives them money, there are no way are going to be friends, that he will keep bad-mouthing him, and so on. And Sherlock, he doesn't return these offenses. He kind of keeps quiet, and he makes Antonio sign as a joke a paper which says that if Antonio cannot return money on time without interest, that Sherlock will have 1 pound of his flesh. Well, right from this moment, it wasn't funny for me. Because, you know, if you show the gun in first act, it will be fired in third act. So I kind of knew that it will be that Antonio won't be able to return the money and that Sherlock will be after his pound of flesh. It was very unpleasant. It also, it's kind of hard, guys. It's against one character, one man, and you and I also felt that it was against the whole nation, that it was anti-Semitic. It was very unpleasant reading experience. I was reading it on a beach in a resort, and I was feeling even more uncomfortable because I was reading it next to people whom I thought to be Jewish. Well, anyway, it was very uncomfortable reading experience. But it also against the quality. Antonio hates Sherlock because of his occupation and because of Sherlock's greed. And Sherlock's greed is very exaggerated in this play. For example, he has a daughter, Jessica, who is in love with a Christian, and she probably knows that her father would never agree to marry her off to this man, and she decides to run away and to become Christian. Maybe because of that, there is nothing wrong said against Jessica, that she decides to become a Christian. But maybe nothing bad is said against her because she was a nice human being, a nice girl. Anyway, she runs away with her suitor, whose name is Lorenzo. But she doesn't just sneak out of her house. She kind of robs her father. She takes his money, she takes some very precious jewels, and she takes a ring that maybe wasn't, the value of this ring was more emotional. It was a remembrance that her father had. I'm not sure that the woman was his wife. Probably the ring was given to him by his wife when they were not married yet. And she gets rid of this ring. It's very strange to me that she doesn't keep this ring as a remembrance of her mother. Anyway, she robs her father. And that's when I start to dislike Sherlock, because he is aggrieved, he is grieving, his daughter ran away. But he more grieves about the money she took with her. She doesn't worry about the girl. He is not worried that she might be taken advantage of, that she might be, I don't know, thrown away. She might be in the street without money, without support, that her reputation is ruined, that he isn't worried about that. He worries about his money, and he would prefer his daughter to be dead in front of him, at his feet. and he wants his money back, and he wants his jewels back. It's kind of hard to relate to such a character and to feel sympathy for him and to feel sorry for him. At that moment it was kind of hard. Well, about Portia, she is a very rich woman, and she has a lot of suitors after her, but she cannot choose, and she cannot refuse a suitor that her late father would choose for her. Those suitors needs to be tested. We have 3 chests, one made of gold, with an inscription that here is what all the men want. One is made from silver, and this inscription says, "Here lies what you deserve." And next, made from lead, and the inscription says that you will give everything away and that you will risk everything. In one of the chests there is her portrait, the portrait of Portia, and the man who will choose a chest with her portrait will marry her, and she cannot refuse him, and she cannot marry anybody else. So, although she likes Bassanio, it's clear that she likes him very much, that she remembers him. They actually met several years back. And it's very easy for her to tell to him in which chest is her portrait. But she is very unique woman. She considers her father's wish probably like her word given to her father, and she will not break her word. So she does not tell Bassanio in which chest her portrait is. She decides to be true to her father. It's a very interesting thing that she does it. It kind of puts her on one level with men in this play for me. I don't know. And she also saves the day when nothing can be done, when Sherlock wants his pound of flesh, and he wants his pound of flesh as close to the heart as possible. So he after Antonio's blood, he wants to kill Antonio. And Portia disguises herself as a lawyer and comes to this process, this hearing, and she defends Antonio, and she punishes Sherlock. Sherlock's not only he loses his pound of Antonio flesh, he loses his money. He loses his own money, the one that he never gave Antonio. And I kind of feel at that moment that he is a very old man and a very tired man, and it feels to me like an overkill, all this punishment that is going on. So it was very unpleasant. I don't remember I think I just haven't understood this part that Sherlock has to change his religion. I didn't see it. I heard about it from Steve Donahue when he made his Shaketube video, but I do not remember this part. I kind of oversaw it. So it kind of doesn't make any credit for Portia, for everybody else. I suppose maybe at that time the crowd was, I don't know, feel the crowd was sorry guys, satisfied with this. It was happy about the ending, but Sherlock wasn't that much of a villain for me to feel satisfaction seeing him ruined like that, you know. So it wasn't a comedy, it was a play. It was a very interesting play because of the Portia character for me. She doesn't act like woman at that time was expected to act. She acts like a man, like a hero of this play. She, as I have already said, saves the day. She is so learned, she is so eloquent, she is so clever that she oversmarts Sherlock and everybody else. It's a very interesting, it's a bit problematic play, but it's nowhere near a comedy. I don't know. Well, thank you for watching and goodbye.